It's Dame time.
It ain't a game now. Me and you, we ain't the same now. Lions coming out to play now. Opposition out the way now. Out of the way.
Wow. Lillard, long three-pointer. That's good. Damian Lillard with a brilliant stretch here. Lillard for three. Knocks it down again. What an explosive performance.
Where Dame will catch, shoot the three. Got it! Oh, my goodness. Lillard has pulled another rabbit out of the hat. He's 51.
I don't know about it. I know I've never been in this type of rhythm in my life.
What? Three.
Lillard! Downtown from three. Dixon free, up three.
61 points for Dame Dollar.
And welcome to the Hoop Streams nightcap of a fun doubleheader here for NBA Countdown. Maria Taylor alongside Jay Will and Paul Pierce. I've been trying to tweet at you, Jay. Like, what is
I didn't
Twitter?
put you on there. I'm still just angry at the call, the no call.
Oh, you're well. Don't,
That was bad.
listen, we about to get to it.
What
We're going
do
to
you
take you through the whole night of NBA matchups. Do you want to go to the highlight now?
Might as well.
Okay, do you want to talk through the Jazz and Trailblazers? All right, whenever it starts running, we're going to start talking about it. But yeah, Dame time is something that we've become very, very used to. All he's done is averaged 40 points and 9 assists over the last 10 games. And of course, he starts early, has 28 points in the first half for the Trailblazers.
Oh, man, there hasn't been anybody who had a stretch like this. I mean, I can't remember who. Kobe? I mean,
Yeah.
James Harden? I mean, he's in great company, I'm telling you.
He's ruthless with the way he plays, though. It's relentless pursuit every single possession.
I thought you were going to just say he's in his bag. Like, that's probably the only way you can define it. He's had 3 50-plus point games over this 10-game stretch. Trevor Ariza, he gets tossed in this one. You see how aggressive he gets?
He didn't get fouled.
But he wasn't happy about the no call.
Trying to
Man,
bite off the ref's ear. What is he doing?
Yeah, I don't know.
man.
He only plays 9 minutes on the night, goes out, and of course the Jazz are rolling. Mike Conley, 18 points. At one point in this game, Utah was up by 16, guys.
Yeah, you know what? And just to jump back on Dame, he understands the moment. He knows that his team needs every game they can get.
I hear
And
you.
that's why he's been playing like this. They're out of the playoff picture right now, but they're right there. They're just a couple games behind a young Memphis team. But you hate to be, in this situation as Dame because he's in his prime.
Exactly.
you.
But look, this is a huge game for Utah, right? Lost 5 straight. They're trying to find their rhythm out as well. I think, with this win, it puts them in 4th place in the Western Conference. They needed this win. Even though I don't agree with the way they got it, I think that Portland this game should have been going on to overtime again, but it's just the way it is, I guess.
Minute left. Look at Dame. There you go. It's
Dame time.
Felt it. Everybody felt it. You knew it was going to happen.
He might have even been fouled on the play. Still knocked it down. Just looks at Bogdanovich like, hey, yeah, that happened to you. Sorry. Or Joe Ingles, I think, was playing him.
He's having an underrated year.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Bogey.
He's averaging 20 points a game, and he's
Dime.
he's a pretty good Robin to Batman, right? Or Spider-Man, as I should say.
He had 27 points in this one. Okay, want to go to the play that we're having all these questions about?
This is
it.
clearly
The ball
goaltending.
obviously hits the backboard before Rudy Gobert blocks it off the back.
This is the reason you went to 3 referees.
Call that.
You got 3 referees and nobody saw that.
Sure. But if you're sitting at home and wondering, well, why don't you challenge it? Challenge it. Well, if there was no call on the play, you can't challenge and say that it was goaltending. So no option there. That is not Damian Lillard taking the final shot of the game, who you would probably hope actually gets that opportunity. So Dame not happy about this one. And you mentioned, Paul, part of it's because it's in his prime.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Utah getting the win 117-114 and snapping a 5-game losing streak. And now Donovan Mitchell joins the show. And Donovan, you got to describe the last minute of this game. You walk away with the victory, and I saw your face as soon as the clock hit 0-0. What was it like at the end?
Drive safe and turn your dial to 1280 or 97.5.
Stressful, I'm not going to lie to you. We did a lot of good things at the late clock. Managing the ball, executing on defense. Roy's helping over on the last play, and thankfully Swanigan missed. But we all did a great job. Rudy got the block at the top, man, and Boyan knocking the free throw down, getting to the bucket. We all did our part, and it showed tonight.
How's the meshing going between you and Mike Conley, obviously sharing the ball, right? I felt like when he was out, you were so dynamic with the ball. How is that split coming along?
I think it's going really well. You know, the best thing about Mike is that he's unselfish. You know, I think as you guys know, that's not always the case in the league with a guy who's has his resume and his history in the league. So he's unselfish. You know, he's supportive. I'm supporting him. We're right there for each other, enjoying each other's success. I'm glad to have him back. You know, because he's a Hall of Fame point guard. You know, who wouldn't want to have him? And we're obviously we have things that we're still building on and working on. But you know, I'm glad to have him back.
Donovan, Paul Pierce here. Great game tonight. How you doing? You guys are coming off a 5-game losing streak. You get a big win tonight. Now, moving forward, how do you feel and how do you like you guys' chances? And where do you guys want to be at the end of the year?
You know, the first thing is we're a team that executes. You know, we got back to that tonight late game. You know, there were certain times in the past 5 games where we weren't communicating the right way or focusing on the little things on defense, and we got back to that. That's who we are, and it happens. You know, I don't think this skid was anything to overreact to. We're playing really good teams. You know, obviously we let one slip against Denver, but you know we're trying to go out there and just find ways to continue to build. And you know, like I always say every year, you know, we're as good as we want to. Our ceiling is as high as we want it to be. You know, obviously the goal is a championship, nothing less. You know, I don't think we go out and say, all right, let's make the second round. But, you know, we got to go out there and compete, you know, and teams aren't going to let us off the hook.
Donovan, when you were at Louisville, I saw you grow as a player, right? We both talked about this all the time back in the day. Do you feel that you are the elite type of caliber of player that can help this team win the championship this year? Do you feel like your game has progressed to that point?
I think so. Oh, sorry.
No, you got it.
I think so, and I think, you know, the best part about it is I have the support of my teammates behind me. You know, I think, you know, at the end of the day, like I said, we're as good as we want to be, and I've put the work in myself. I know my teammates have put their trust in me. You know, you look at Bojan, like, you know, Rudy, Joe, Royce, like I have guys that are right there behind me supporting me. And on top of that, playing, you know, tonight I didn't really have the shot falling, but, you know, Bojan had 27. Rudy's continuously getting double-doubles. And like I said, it's not just about me, but I think, you know, I've raised my level to a point where we can do that, and we just got to go out there and show it.
And after that, Donovan, you had 7 assists. Congratulations on getting the win. Spider Mitch, you guys did it again. Enjoy this one.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Amen.
So Utah and the Jazz, they've got a little bit of home cooking going on. They're 19-5 this season at home. They just snapped a 5-game losing streak, and that home record is second best in any Western Conference team. Only the Clippers have been better at home this season. All right, guys, a lot of good news for Utah. That bad news for Portland, though, I feel like we have to just go back to the call. And why, again, you said it's so important for Portland. They're 2.5 games behind Memphis right now in 9th place in the West. Every single game matters. Don't get it twisted.
Every game matters for them. I mean, they're scratching at the surface of making the playoffs, and they need every game right now, especially the way Memphis is playing. San Antonio's still right there, so all these games are important. And then this has to be so frustrating for Dame Dollar because he's playing out of his mind. And to come away with a loss, this is frustrating. I feel his pain right now.
You have to make this call. If you're 3 referees on the court and the possession is coming down towards the end of a game in regulation, how do you not pay attention to this? And I know the league has a rule that says that refs can't review non-calls, nor can teams challenge non-calls. But I feel like each team should maybe get 1 challenge on a non-call. Like if it's at least 1 time per game to be able to challenge something like that, or
Maybe
have the
just
refs
final
review that.
minute or final
something like that. I mean, that's a game changer for a team that has no Nurkic, no Zach Collins. You know, they don't have Rodney Hood towards Achilles. They need these type of wins to get into the playoffs.
Very frustrating. I feel for Dame.
Yeah, and by the way, he had just hit another go-ahead too, right before that. So he was going in, attacking again, hoping to get it to go, and it could have potentially gone down if not for the goaltending, which was not called. Adrian Wojnarowski was chiming in on Twitter. So let's see what Woj had to say about this game. Ooh.
Thank you. Yeah, Woj.
Wow.
Thank you.
Hard to miss a call, worse than officials did on a Gobert goaltend of a Lillard drive and lay-in in final seconds of a brutal loss. Back-to-back at altitude in Utah, bench depleted, just a hellacious end. Orlando on Thursday, Portland tonight. Sloppy run of NBA officiating.
Wow, and Woj is always neutral. He's always Switzerland,
This
right?
is deflating.
And
yeah, Woj.
But listen, he talked about the depleted bench. They were playing with 7 players. Remember, Ariza went out at the beginning of this matchup, so they really didn't have a lot to go on. Dame scores 42 points. Like, you're in the game, the opportunity is there, and then this happens.
This is going to be tough because an NBA player been in this position before. It's going to be tough to get some sleep tonight. I'm telling you, Dame won't get any rest tonight on the plane or wherever their next place is. This is a heartbreaker right here.
It's a Dame and CJ combined for 69 of the team's 114 points. Like, they need to carry that load offensively
I feel for
every night. So that's what makes
these
this
are
game even
prime.
more
Remember,
tough.
these are
Yeah.
prime years for Dame.
You're right.
That could be going to waste.
Wow.
We're here for you, Dame.
43 and 42 minutes, by the way.
Yeah.
Dame and CJ.
I know. They were out there. CJ was in for the whole second half. He didn't even come off the court in the second half. All right, so the game, or the team that right now Portland's behind Memphis, the Grizzlies, maybe the good news for Dame right now is they didn't exactly get a victory against the 76ers. That's what we're going to say. That's how we're going to call it. But 76ers had something to prove. They're coming off of a 4-game losing streak. Ben Simmons had 22 points.
Yeah, they play well at home. I mean, we know that. I mean, that's not their problem. We know they're one of the best, if not the best home team in all of the NBA.
Go ahead, Ben.
They got to get their stuff together on the road. I mean, if they're going to make a splash in the Eastern Conference, they got to get better on the road.
By the way, when you see Ben Simmons dunk the ball and Joel Embiid's in the game, he's not in the paint. Which, when he's in the paint, that's where he operates the best. That's why I think these two butt heads.
Woo.
There was no one to bump heads with tonight because Joel Embiid was out. He had some neck stiffness, okay? So he left the game early. So plenty of room for Ben Simmons to go to work. That's why he ends up with 22 and 10 assists on the night as well.
Yeah, what's going to keep them back is their lack of shooting. They've got some shooting in the trade. I'm not sure how it's going to work out as far as chemistry. But you got a guy who can attack the basket like this guy and get downhill on drives. You need to put shooting around him.
Okay.
You got Glenn Robinson III.
You do.
He's kind of streaky. You got Alec Burks. He's kind of streaky at times as well. But T-Style was different, though.
Also, though, Korkmaz, 34 points, 7 of 9 from 3. So you talk about shooting. They had a little bit of it tonight.
Well, he's the one guy that actually can space out the floor for them all the time. And I like that he's becoming more aggressive. He needs to be with this team, especially when there's a lineup when Joel Embiid isn't in the court.
76ers get the win 119 to 107, and they needed it bad. I mean, we've been talking so much about chemistry, what's going on, what did Al Horford say, what did Joel Embiid say, what is Ben Simmons thinking? Maybe a win will make things better for the 76ers, or Paul doesn't believe it until they go on the road.
This is not the issue. This is not the issue. We know they're a great home team. They come with problems on the road. Now, I don't know what goes on the road or what changes. Maybe it's mental toughness, a lack of focus. But if they can't win in the road, they're going to be out in the
How many
first
games
round.
do you need to see them win on the road to believe in them?
At least to get to
You
the top
gotta
4
be-
seed, so they have home court advantage in the playoffs. I mean, that would be helpful. I mean, they're 1-12 versus teams with winning records on the road.
At this pace, they're looking at a first-round exit because if you have to start off on the road and you're not a road team, it's going to be tough to win a playoff series.
What's the difference? Why do you think it's so different for the 76ers on the road?
Mental toughness. I mean, that's just it. I mean, I don't know, if guys have the same preparation at home as they do on the road. I don't know if it's a lack of focus, but you got to understand, when you go on the road, it takes a certain type of toughness to go into another place where the other team is feeling comfortable to try to pull out a win. No matter how good or how bad that team is, when you're on the road, it just takes a certain type of toughness.
I said this during our show. If they don't get to the Eastern Conference or win the Eastern Conference this year, if I were a GM, I would look at what could I get in return for Joel Embiid. I would start building my team around Ben Simmons.
Just to review, he said this under a full screen, so you couldn't see his face. So we're just glad that his face is on camera saying this again. Say it again. Say it again.
Yeah, I would look at what I can get in return for Joel Embiid, and I would build a team around Ben Simmons. I would try to find shooters that can build around him. I think Al Horford, in this new age, if the Rockets are trading Clint Capella, if Detroit is saying Andre Drummond, we get rid of it. It's
Wait a minute. Embiid is on a different level than them guys.
I didn't say that.
Come on now.
I didn't
Don't
say
put
that.
him in that category with them.
Wait, time out. I was about to get to a different point. I'm saying that the league is moving more towards a small ball league. I don't think what you said this before. We talked about this, Paul.
All right.
What team with the traditional center has won a championship in the past 20 years?
It's been a while, but
Tell me,
Shaq and Tim Duncan.
Tim Duncan. That's it.
All-time greats, but he can be an all-time great.
I hear
He's
you.
on his way.
I hear you, but I don't see you waiting for Joel Embiid to get the ball down the court.
I'm not going to give up on them right now.
I didn't say right now.
No, but right now I need to see them what happens in the playoffs. And then I can make a better assessment of how to move forward. But I wouldn't
But isn't this a great implication of how they may be in the playoffs?
I mean, it's an indicator, maybe.
I feel like a lot of people
We thought Milwaukee Bucks were going to be in the finals last year.
Is it Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, or is it coaching and the situations that they're being put in? We talk about Nick Nurse so much. You know what I mean? We talk about, look at the way he runs the system, and look at the players that he has and how he makes that work.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the caliber of players, the two All-Stars that Philly has. But like I said, let's just calm down a little bit.
I'm not saying you do it right now. They're going to be able to prove whether they do it or
what
not.
happens because if they get to the conference finals after losing J.J. Redick, after losing Jimmy Butler, that's a great season for them.
Can I ask you a question? Do you believe that they're going to get to the conference finals with the way that they're playing right now?
I just don't know.
Okay, well, if you're asking me to make an assessment of where this team is right now, I don't think they get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And Jimmy Butler was the dog on last year's team.
All right, so they match up with Miami in the first round. Can they beat Miami?
I know Miami's beat them more than they beat Miami.
But you don't believe that the Philadelphia Sixers
That's the 7.
can beat Miami?
Not right now. No, I do not.
All right.
Do you?
I'm not. I mean,
well, you can't ask me the question. And I have an answer.
I'm not here to
I don't think it's guaranteed that they can beat the Sixers. It's not saying like Milwaukee's definitely going to beat Orlando. If Orlando or the Brooklyn Nets, Milwaukee will win that series. Between those two, I just don't know.
I would favor Miami in that series. Right.
That just reminds me of just Milwaukee going up against the 76ers and how Giannis punked everybody for Philly.
Yeah, but you forget the game before that. They played the 76ers.
And Christmas?
On Christmas, and they beat the Bucks. So, regular season, maybe an indicator, but I got to see
Best of 7, who are you going with?
Between who?
76ers and Bucks.
I mean, if I had to put money on it, like real money, I got to go.
I'm only taking your real money.
Yeah,
you always put real money
you always put real money on everything.
No. Monopoly money, and I got 76ers.
Look
Monopoly
like
money.
Smell like money.
That's monopoly money.
Anyways, we have yet to see.
Truth.
He's the truth.
Paul. Why are you getting so tight?
I'm sweating.
All right, guys, I want you to watch the best ending we had all night. Mavs taking on the Wizards. Still no Luka playing, but the good news is Bradley Beal is playing for the Wizards, and he put on a show, 16 points in the first half.
Paul, if you had to pick one, Trae Young or Bradley Beal?
Bradley Beal. I played with Bradley. He should have been an All-Star. I don't see how they left him off the All-Star.
Basically, if you didn't play with Paul, he's not going to co-sign on you.
Yeah, that's who he is as a person. That's okay. We accept you, Paul.
We accept that, Paul. That's fine with us.
If I didn't play with you, I'm not with you.
He's not rolling with you.
Give it to him, Brad.
Another one. But the Wizards did trail by 2 at the half, so they had a lot of work to do as Beal continues. Yeah, cut, screen. Why don't I go ahead?
Even though they're losing a lot of games, they are an exciting team to watch, I tell you.
They have won. They're a little bit on a run right now, though. Won 7 of their last 10. Beal again.
Man, you know what? I would love to see him on a team to where he's contending one day. I mean, I think he'll be a big factor on a championship contending team.
I wish he was on. If he was on the 76ers, imagine what that unit would be like.
Woo.
What would it be like?
Different. Wouldn't be 6.
Okay, guys.
They'll be better on the road, right?
Yes, they would be.
Yeah.
Washington down 1. We got 1.8
I wonder who's gonna get the ball.
Get the ball?
Who's gonna get the ball?
Chances are.
Oh my goodness.
What?
How do you get open?
What?
The finish is good.
Wow.
Like,
how about that?
Does the best player on the court get the ball? And 2, how does he get a layup?
I don't know.
Like, come on.
And Porzingis, you're on the ball.
Like,
takes a bump.
If anything, force him to throw the ball back towards your hoop.
Where's Boban when you need him?
Here's Bradley after the game.
I think you did good. Walk me through that final play, buddy.
Man, Coach drove a great play. He wanted me to get a full head of steam downhill. The play was really for me to come up closer to the ball and get an attack downhill, but they kind of fumbled the switch, and I cut back door. Troy made a great pass, man, and I was just thankful that I was able to make one, man. I was tricking off all of them at the end of the game, man, and I'm just happy that my teammates trusted me, the coach trusted me to be able to pull us out with this win, man.
That's Bradley Beal's son, Deuce. How about Deuce made it to the postgame interview? I need us to define what tricking off means in the context that Bradley Beal was
I don't know what that means.
Tricking off means like I blew it. I didn't go my way.
Okay.
Tricking off.
We'll save that conversation for another time.
No, that makes sense.
NBA terminology.
I get it.
Yeah.
No, like
It was
I tricked off the layup.
Right.
I missed.
But you watching him was like you watching a proud son.
Yeah, absolutely. I've watched him grow right before my eyes. I'm glad that I was able to help contribute to some of his maturation, even the 1 year there. So, but I'm upset he didn't make the All-Star game, truthfully, because he's probably the best two guard.
We him if he's going to be mad he didn't make the All-Star game.
The votes.
Don't hit us with the
this is not on the votes. This is on the coaches getting it right.
No.
And the coaches did not get this right because the votes are going to be
Paul,
one vote
did you
doesn't
vote
matter.
for him?
I didn't vote for nobody.
Who would you have taken
Did you
off?
vote at all?
Who would you have taken off?
Oh my! Who I would have taken off?
Yeah.
Your vote matters. That's what they
Oh my goodness! I would have. He's over Trae Young to me.
Well, the fans voted Trae Young.
I know. So
what
the coaches messed this up? Not me.
Paul,
the media and the
you
coaches.
had an opportunity
Don't
to
mad,
vote
son.
your boy in.
I don't get a vote as a media member. I don't, and I don't know why. So we need to fix this.
Talk about that.
Why he looks so hard into
We
the
need to
game?
fix this. Straight up.
The truth is not happy about it,
I
so
am
we're
not
going to move
happy
on
about
to a team that's just been taking care of business. 12 straight wins the Raptors have. That's the most in franchise history. Can they get their 13th against the Pacers? That's the last team they played. That was on Wednesday.
Got a Victor Oladipo sighting.
Yeah, he played really well in this one, y'all.
He's still getting his legs up underneath him, though. I feel like I'm still waiting to see that explosive VO that we knew he had back in the day. He's getting there, though.
Let me ask y'all this. You take the Milwaukee Bucks out the picture.
Wide open.
Are the Toronto Raptors the favorite?
Yes.
The way they've been playing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say it's wide open, though, but yes.
Because you have to ask yourself, are you taking them over the 76ers and the Celtics?
Celtics,
That's the question.
76ers, Miami
Heat.
Heat?
I think the Miami Heat are way above the 76ers. I would put them in that next stratosphere with the Celtics.
Although, so we just watched Toronto. Remember, they had to go on an 11-0 run. They were down with 2 minutes to play against Indiana at home. They were able to win it. They've kind of got like this championship mentality or like aura about them. They know how to win.
No, let me tell you something. When you win a championship, that brings tremendous confidence. I remember when we came back the next year, we lost Kevin Garnett for half the season. We were like 30, 35 games in. We still wound up winning 60-plus games. And so that was because of the DNA. We used to playing one another.
They just know how to play, though, and they execute everything that Nick Nurse provides for them, though. Ooh, look at VO. Ooh, get up. Old school, V.
I know. Listen, Siakam and Oladipo, they kind of went at each other towards the end. It was a 10-1 run for the Raptors late. Siakam ended up finishing with 16 points. He did have an eye injury going into the second half and looked as though he might not return. He was questionable. But ultimately, what started out as a close game finished on the Raptors side.
I'll tell you this, whatever that cooking show is that Serge is doing, he needs to keep doing it because he's been balling out lately.
Because he's been cooking on the court.
And what he did tonight, that was art. That was
and
art.
that's coming off of hitting the game-winning 3 against the Pacers on Wednesday.
Exactly.
So there you go. The Raptors get the win, 115-106. Now that's 13 straight wins for Toronto.
So who would you consider the biggest threat to the Milwaukee Bucks?
You're going to answer that after we hear from George Sedano.
All right, let's see.
You be quiet and listen to
We had a picture earlier of you walking in with your big scarf, and we talked to Fred VanVleet. He says, you're the guy with the most drip on the roster. He says you got the most money. What do you say about that, about trying to outdo your teammates?
I think I don't do drip or money or fashion. I do arts. So me, it's about arts. That's it.
All right, fair enough. Congratulations, Serge.
Thank you.
We make art
Serge's
over
like
here.
a young Morris Chestnut right there.
Okay.
All right, whatever. Don't get weird about it.
Because I can't say what I really want to say, so I'm just going to not say anything. Okay, let's talk about the Raptors, though. You know what you said? Raptors, Pacers. You like the way they play. They play some of the best basketball in the
Yeah, and what I mean by that is the way they move the ball, how well they're coached, how efficient they are on offense, and there's no egos. You know, nobody cares. You could go into a game and you play against superstars, you're like, okay, we need to focus our defense on Giannis or LeBron. But these two teams, it's like, who do you really focus the scouting report on? I know Siakam, yeah, he's scoring 25, but they got guys like Lowry, VanVleet, Ibaka. These guys are more than capable of carrying the offensive load on any given night.
Terrence Davis out of nowhere.
And on Indiana also. You just don't know who's the guy every night. And that's what makes them tough to scout.
I just feel like people have been really disrespectful to Canada and Toronto, right? Just in general. It's last year, without Kawhi Leonard playing a lot of the season, they kept themselves at the top of the Eastern Conference without him, right? Like Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet stepped up. He played well. And it's the same thing this year. Pascal Siakam has stepped up. He's a starter in the All-Star game. They've been doing this. They've been plagued by injuries throughout the entire year, and they're second in the Eastern Conference.
I would like to shout out Kyle Lowry for passing
Paul got sold
on the all-time
Paul, tell him why you're mad,
list.
Paul.
So, Paul, I don't know if you wanted to pass on your blessing.
I mean, you know, he's been there for 30 years. He's gonna pass. But no, I got love for Kyle. He's a champion, so you respect the champion.
So what you're saying is he's not better than Vince just because he's score more points.
Oh, I mean, he's a great.
Yeah, I think we're all
right. I didn't say Vince. To me,
Vince is.
No,
It's
to
just
me,
every time
Kawhi
we
is
say
the
it,
greatest player
that's
to put
ever put on.
to Toronto
That is
Raptors
fair.
uniform, and he would probably be the only player that is deserving of a statue. And now this is not a knock against
Sure.
Kyle Lowry.
No. Kyle's great.
He's marked in NBA history with his championship.
I don't know about
saying
a
Kyle
statue,
got a
though?
championship.
You would give
Like,
him a
well,
statue
I'm
for one
giving-
season?
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard gets a statue.
Period. Just period.
Period.
Yes.
But you know how you think about like, this is a Laker and this, this Laker gets a statue, or this is a Bull and this. I mean, maybe it's changed, maybe times have changed, but one season, one ship, and now
I think things have changed.
I mean,
If Toronto wins another one, does Siakam get a statue too?
So does LeBron James? Will he get a statue?
Will he get a
outside
statue with the
Cleveland?
Lakers?
if they win the championship, LeBron
If the Lakers
James
win,
is getting-
does he get one outside of Staples?
Yes, he does.
I don't know about
yes,
that.
he does.
Right.
I don't know about that.
Yes, he does.
I don't know about that in the Laker organization, though.
In the Lakers
That was Shaq and
organization-
Kobe and all the greats that played. Cleveland, yes. Lakers, I'm not sure.
Cleveland, he gets
A statue, for sure. Cleveland,
Does
yes.
he get one in Miami?
He gets a statue. If he wins a championship for the Lakers,
You
he
don't
gets a
give this man
statue.
3 statues?
Kawhi Leonard
Yeah.
gets a statue. Single season
Nah, Pa.
we've ever seen.
Not doing
That's the
it.
great.
You're from LA.
Who's
Paul,
ever,
you're
this
from
is not
LA.
college.
You're from
We've
LA.
seen
There's so
some
many
We've
Laker
seen some great
greats.
one and outs in college, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't come over here 'cause
what's
we've been
the
in
greatest
college.
one and out you ever seen in NBA history? It's Kawhi Leonard. I mean, come
Paul,
on.
do you have a statue in Boston?
No, I don't have a statue in Boston. They don't put statues up in Boston. We got Red Auerbach and
Soccer.
Okay,
He
yeah,
said that they
yeah,
treat the
yeah.
players.
my jersey number up there though.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
how
give
about
LeBron
that?
James. So
How
LeBron's
about
gonna have a
that?
statue in 3 places.
He's getting it again. Cleveland, Miami, and LA.
With all the greats in LA. You're gonna give it
He
to him
wins
in LA.
in LA, he gets a statue.
I don't think so.
Disagree.
I disagree with
completely.
I mean, how many other players would have won 3 championships with 3 different franchises?
That's fine. That's great
that
for
doesn't mean
his
they get a
legacy,
statue
not
at
for the
every-
Laker legacy. I give
Laker
a statue to
We'll come
Kobe's
back to
gonna have the
this. We'll
statue.
come back to
Shaq.
that.
I mean, if you walked in there and you saw a statue of LeBron in front of the Lakers, you gonna frown at it?
No.
Lakers fans
Nah,
would.
nah, come on
wouldn't
now.
frown
No, they
at it.
wouldn't.
Some Laker
No, they
fans
wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
Moving on. Hawks and Celtics, since we brought up the Celtics. Remember, no statue for Paul Pierce
That's a
there.
good debate
But
right
the
there.
number is
Our number up there.
And
You better
the
take a-
Raptors
you better take a look
don't
up.
get it twisted, okay?
I'll get it
I really
twisted.
thought Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown should have been All-Stars, but I know it's crazy to have 3 All-Stars on one team, but I mean, they just both have grown up so much. Jayson Tatum just cooking.
Look at him.
I tell you, if he keeps up at this pace, his number's gonna be up there too.
11 points in the first quarter, Jayson Tatum had.
Man, you know what I've seen from him, truthfully, since he's been announced the All-Star.
He's changed. You think it's on an uptick?
Oh man, what? He's back-to-back 30-point games. You can see he's a different player since he's been named All-Star. I can see it in his game. I watched this kid closely. He's a different player.
Well, last year he took so many tough twos, Paul, though, right? Like fadeaway twos, like Kobe-like twos. That wasn't his game. I think this year he's shooting more threes, more drives, and he's finding more of the rhythm for
Well, I think a lot of it has to do, he's gotten stronger. He's going to the basket,
Yep.
finishing at the rim a lot better. And that's just growing up. You got to stay, he's still young.
I still think they're a piece away, though. I still think they're a big away. I don't know if Enes Kanter and Tice and if Robert Williams comes back, if that's enough for them to beat Milwaukee.
We'll see. I mean,
can't just keep
Boston.
saying we'll
Boston.
see.
Boston
Give me
is
some
the listen,
projections,
listen,
Paul.
but
Tell me
listen,
what you think is going
When I
to
look at
happen.
the East, Boston is the only team in the East that has 4 guys that can go for 30 any given night.
Okay.
True.
4 guys. No other team in the East has that. So they have a shot at beating Milwaukee. I'm telling you.
Who are you taking to come out of the East, Paul?
Look at this. Look at this.
If you had to
Well,
choose
right now, Milwaukee is the
Ooh.
favorite.
Ooh.
But if this guy keeps playing like this, I gotta take the Celtics.
I know.
I'm a Celtic homer.
I know.
Well, we know- we
but I'ma
definitely know
I
that.
like to keep it all the way real though. But Milwaukee should be the favorite. I mean, they have the best player and they're playing the best defense and have the best offense. So I'm gonna keep it real right there.
Yeah, we saw that the Hawks were playing without Trae Young. Celtics obviously get the win. Jayson Tatum, 32 points, 7 for 12 from
That's that
three.
all-star swagger.
7 for
I'm
12
telling
from
you.
3.
That's
It
all-star
has been different.
swagger.
I went up to Boston and talked to him some, and he said the biggest thing was he had to change his whole shot selection. He did a lot of work. That's what he worked on. He was like, I was taking too much mid-range.
I just
took
said.
bad shots. I wasn't listening. I'm sorry.
Never listen to me.
I was listening, but I just wanted to reiterate the fact that I actually talked to him. So I knew what he was working on during the offseason.
She's the worst sometimes. I'm trying to tell y'all.
You know what I love about this show? I can actually just be the Black Widow.
That's her alter ego.
I can be what I am off camera with you guys.
Alter ego right there.
He's the truth. She's the Black Widow.
I'm gonna tell you the big difference in the Black Widow.
What happened?
You know, it's heels and Uggs.
Right. Listen, when we in heels, it's real cute, it's sweet, it's nice. We put them
Black
Uggs
Widow
on.
wear Uggs.
These are house shoes. Welcome to our house.
Paul got the white socks on. I like it, Paul. Nike'd out.
But he had lotion on the ankles, I think.
I got lotion today.
I'm not 100% sure. Okay, let's talk about the Rockets and the Suns. Remember what they did? They didn't play a player above 6'7" in their matchup against the Pelicans. They won. Now Russ is out. Eric Gordon gets hurt in this matchup, but they get blown out by the Suns.
Yeah, I give them a pass on this. I mean, Russ doesn't play back-to-backs anyway. Eric Gordon being out hurts them because, I mean, they made 19 threes in their last game against the Lakers. So, look, I will tell you this. I do like watching the Suns play. I do. Devin Booker is an A-plus type of player.
He is.
Yeah, they just.
Kelly Oubre, the Valley Boys.
I thought at the beginning of the year, the way they came out, they would be a playoff team, Phoenix Suns. I think they have the talent. I mean, it's very surprising to me that Memphis Grizzlies are better than this team because I think they have more talent than the Memphis Grizzlies.
Well, Kelly Oubre, he did go off in this one. He had 28 points through the first 3 quarters. And I think that he's someone that we don't really talk enough about. We talk about Devin Booker all the time when we talk about the Suns, but he has a different gear too.
My man Tuts just got in my ear. What'd you say his name was, Tuts? Tsunami Poppy. I like that.
Tsunami Poppy.
Another nickname, alter ego. Okay.
Okay, then what are the Suns missing? What's the issue? Why are they inconsistent?
I really don't know because I think they have, some good veterans now. Kelly Oubre is coming into his own. They have a star, a go-to scorer in Booker.
Right.
They have a big man who could put up double-double numbers. I mean, I really don't know what they're missing. I mean, maybe a lot of it has to do with Andre Ayton being out at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Not being filled
I mean, just talent-wise, I just think talent-wise, look, Memphis is a young team. What about Oklahoma City?
Yeah, but
even though they got Chris Paul,
with
this
that
team,
dog in them, though, all the time.
I mean, when you look at this roster, you look at Memphis, you look at Oklahoma City, listen, I think this team should be a playoff team.
I agree with you.
Okay, that's fair.
So I just don't know what is missing.
How many
Maybe it's
highlights
injuries.
do we have for that?
Listen, when the Suns play good, we're going to show everyone how good the Suns play,
let's
okay?
go.
When they're up by 32 points at any given time against the Rockets,
get
we're
it.
giving
They
them
won by
all
30.
the love that they deserve because they didn't make the real show. So now they're online, and we need to talk about the Suns.
What about this small ball, though?
I was going to say, I don't want to talk about the Suns anymore. Let's talk about the
small ball. What y'all think of that?
I think it's the future of the NBA. I think it's a little early, right? But I think that's where everything is headed.
I mean,
but they're playing money ball right now. It's like that's all they got. That's all they can do.
It's very, D'Antoni's always been innovative with his offensive approach. But I don't know. The jury's still out on it right now. But the one thing I will say, what they did before wasn't working.
Hold on.
And so they went all in and said, look, we're going to try this because if this doesn't work, if the Rockets don't get to the finals, it's going to be a lot of changes.
So this takes me to our conversation about Embiid a little bit, okay? So Matt gave me some great stats. In 2013-14 season, there were 31 post-ups per game, including both teams. That was the average per game. Today, 16 per game. 16 per game.
So it's just going to go down.
So there's no more, hey, old school, throw the ball down low on the block, pound it down low.
And by the way, you would think that there would be a defensive advantage by having the bigger team, right? But we saw it against the Lakers. AD can't guard Russ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He got cooked every time he stepped out to guard him. So what's the answer going to be?
Nobody could guard AD either.
Agreed.
True.
He was dominant.
That's if, though, the pace of the game is slowed down
threes are always going to be more than 2.
Where you're going to throw it down to him on the block each and every possession. AD spends more of his time, Paul, on the perimeter than he does on the block. Same with Jokic. Same with Joel Embiid because of Ben Simmons.
With a big, you need to have dribble penetration with that because normally if you got guards that can get into the lane and draw the help, you give it to your big man right there. That's the way you get your big man. It's not no more come down, let me toss it into the post. You put your bigs in pick and roll and you depend on dribble penetration to get your bigs the ball. So when the help comes, he's there, he drops it under the rim, he gets layups and
see, that's going to be the problem for the Lakers. Who else is creating besides LeBron?
That's the problem.
That's the problem. They have nobody else, right? That's why I think Darren Collison can help. I don't think he's the answer.
Matt, what do they go from? The second best efficient offense or something to the 28th? from 3rd to 28th.
Yeah,
when LeBron's
they're
not
too dependent on LeBron.
Bad.
But that's all right.
Really bad.
bad. But the good news is, if the Lakers win, he gets a bronze statue outside of Staples, according to Paul.
No statues in Boston, though, for Paul.
That's all right. I got my number up there.